Alright, what up guys? This is your boy Retro back at you with my Extreme Rules 2017 predictions. So as a lot of you may know, I was live in the arena last night and it was live. The crowd in Baltimore, Maryland was live, and I thank them because they put on more of a show than the actual pay-per-view event, except the main event, which was really, really good. And I apologize if my voice is a little bit off. Let me set my camera for a second here. I apologize for my voice. It might be a little hoarse. I was making a lot of noise. I mean, that's how you make these events fun. Make your voice be heard. Get it energized. And the crowd was pretty good tonight. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to quickly talk about the cards itself. And then I'm just going to show you guys some pictures and some videos that I took last night. I didn't get everything because I wanted to enjoy the experience. So I didn't record as much as I normally do when I go to these events. But real quick, just a couple things. I was able to, if you watch the pay-per-view, I was sitting on the ringside seats, which is pretty much where the wrestler comes down the ramp on his left. We were sitting on the ringside seats to his left, and I was able to get the commemorative Extreme Rules chair right here, which was amazing. Got the Extreme Rules seats. I got Jeff Hardy and Matt Hardy's face. And I was able to take this bad boy home because I was sitting on ringside seats. So I enjoyed it. I even wore my my WWE title belt to the show. I was a little skeptical about it at first, but I'm like, well, I bought this shit, might as well wear it. So I had fun. And if you go back and watch that show on the WWE Network, you'll actually see me with a black Finn Balor Demon shirt on. I was on the camera quite a few times during that show because I was like right there, but mainly definitely doing that Finn Balor entrance where he does his his normal routine. You can actually see me, but I actually enjoyed myself. The experience was fun. That's my first pay-per-view. I've been to a few Raws. I've been to a SmackDown a long time ago, but that was my first pay-per-view. It was cool. So what else was memorable about that? The ringside seats, the set was amazing. Everything was cool. I enjoyed myself. Me and Renegade went, and Renegade took most of the pictures and the videos, and I want to get those from him. But I will put up in this video some of the stuff that I got. So let's actually just get right into it. I'm going to make this brief. I'm just going to talk about the cards. Like I said, the main event was the main good matches involved. And I apologize. I'm getting messages. Oh, another thing I forgot to mention. Today is my birthday, ironically, as I'm doing this video. So it's a lot going on right now. I'm getting messages, notifications all over from the Extreme Rules, messages about my birthday. So I apologize. But, yeah, so congrats to me, 27 years old. Don't look like it. People call me old, but I don't know. Whatever. But anyway, so the Extreme Match card started off with The Miz and Dean Ambrose for the Intercontinental Championship, and the stipulation was if Dean Ambrose gets disqualified, the title can change hands. I thought the stipulation was kind of bogus because it is Extreme Rules, and I figured, well, why would we have a disqualification Extreme Rules match when all the matches should be no DQ anyway? But like I said, the match was pretty good for what it was. They played up. They lived up to the stipulation. I mean, if you're going to make a stipulation where Dean Ambrose doesn't gets disqualified, he loses the title, at least live up to it. And so that came into a factor. Maurice slapped Miz, tried to give him DQ. That didn't work. Then the Miz pushed the referee into. Miz put Dean Ambrose into the referee, knocked him out. The referee was actually about to disqualify Dean Ambrose. And then the Miz hit him with Skull Crusher finale, and that was it. So I was actually happy. The crowd was live, especially for this one. Let's go Ambrose, let's go Miz, and I'm one of those pro Miz guys. I love the Miz. I think he'll bring prestige back to that title. It was live, and I really enjoyed it. I really enjoyed the fans getting behind the Miz, because the fans really know who the better champion was, and the Ambrose chance and the Miz chance were even. It wasn't like, oh my God, Ambrose, and then the Miz was like getting a little bit. It was even, and I was yelling my ass off for the Miz. So The Miz wins. The next match on the card, I'm not sure if I'm going in order. I'm just going by what I remember. I believe the next match was Rich Swann and Sasha Banks versus Noam Dar and Alicia Fox. Got a close up on Alicia Fox. She winked at us over in the corner, and that was kind of cool. That was kind of cool. She tried to keep a straight face, but she winked at us. And I don't really give a shit about Noam Dar. No, Alicia Fox looks good. Sasha Banks looks good. Rich Swann got a huge pop from the crowd um, when he came out, so that was cool too. Everybody know he's from Baltimore, so he got that huge pop. I don't think Rich Swann is going to get a huge pop anywhere else except his hometown. So that was good to see. I enjoyed it. The match itself was good. Was cool. I mean, Rich Swann hit that 450 splash off the ropes. Sasha Banks did a double knees to Noam Dar, and they won. And hopefully this feud was just a one and done with Alicia Fox. Sasha Banks needs to be in something more serious. And after we saw, which I'll get into in a second, after Bayley got squashed, I can see Sasha Banks and Alexa Bliss feuding now. So that was pretty cool. The next match on the card, I believe, was the kendo stick on the pole. Now let me just talk about Bayley and Alexa Bliss. I'm not going to talk about the Elias Sampson promo because, first of all, in the arena, we couldn't even hear what he was saying. The crowd was booing the shit out of Elias Sampson, so he's gaining that heat that he's supposed to get. But being there live, you couldn't actually hear what he was saying. The crowd was all over him, and that was fucking amazing. They was booing the shit out of him. I went back and looked at the WWE Network after I got home, and I realized he was talking shit about Baltimore, calling Baltimore needs to bathe in filth and whatever, some shit he was saying. I didn't give a fuck. But they was booing the shit out of him. It was great. One of the craziest things I want to say, I think I'm not even sure if I'm going in chronological order, because Bayley did a backstage interview, and it was so funny how the crowd was booing the shit out of Bayley. It was crazy. I've never seen Bayley get booed like that. I mean, you heard your cheers in there, but Bayley doesn't get booed. And it wasn't until this last couple of weeks, that dumbass segment last week, and the segment, I mean, she's been getting destroyed like for the last couple of weeks, and the crowd booed her. I mean, I wasn't really necessarily one to boo her. I just didn't give her any reaction because I didn't really cheer. I didn't really boo. She came out with the Bayley bunnies, and it was like they gave us a little hugger section signs. I didn't hold it up. I didn't really care. And but the match itself, me and Renegade were like, okay, we can go ahead and sit down and eat. The goal was to get the kendo stick. Bayley was actually the first one that got it. The problem I have with this is you promote this kendo stick on a pole match. Fine. Why didn't we get to see Alexa Bliss and Bayley both take their turns hitting each other with the kendo stick? Bayley got it first. She swung. She didn't connect. Alexa Bliss took the kendo stick from her, smacked her a couple of times. Bayley only got one legit move in, which was her belly to belly. After that, smacked with the kendo stick a few times, and next thing you know, DDT, and it was over. And it was literally like 5 minutes. And me and Renegade was like, what the fuck was this? Like, they've had better matches. The Payback match was way better than this. I mean, that was like, okay, I ate my food. 1, 2, 3. I'm like, what the fuck? And that just made Bayley get booed even more because she got squashed. But the crowd was actually cheering heavy for Alexa Bliss more than they were Bayley, which I found that funny. I was actually cheering for Alexa Bliss, but I didn't boo Bayley. But it was just amazing how Bayley got squashed and she got booed. And you can look at her face, like as she was coming back up the ring, she had that like surprised look as in, wow. Like basically like WWE has fucked me over that the people are actually booing me. It was all over her face. It was crazy. As she was walking back up, I was looking at her and I was like, wow, she really looks like, basically on her facial expression saying WWE has fucked me over. It was crazy. But next match, the steel cage match, and I was actually kind of pumped for this because I've never seen a steel cage in person. A little awkward that it was a tag team steel cage. And the cage looks a lot smaller in person than it does on TV. The cage was really small, and I was like, wow, it's crazy. But It was a decent match. They utilized the cage. They would smash each other in front of the cage. One thing I like about cage match, there's only so much you can do in a cage. So at least smack them against it, make it feel like they're getting hit. And that's what they did. They threw Sheamus and Cesaro threw the Hardys into the cage. The Hardys threw Sheamus and Cesaro into the cage. It was weird because I didn't understand the stipulations of this match in terms of Jeff Hardy was the first one to actually leave the cage, and somehow I knew he was going to do something ridiculous off the top of the cage. He did his whisper in the wind. He entered himself back in the cage, and that played a factor. So if you enter back in the cage, it goes back to regular rules, and basically both competitors have to exit the cage. And I didn't understand that. I'm like, okay, well, if he's already out and he's out and he's secured his spot out, why does he have to leave out again in order for them to win? And I was telling Renegade, I'm sitting there thinking, okay, and I heard most people say this, why would Jeff Hardy leave his brother in the cage? And then my thing is, and I'm thinking if I was, because when it was Cesaro and Sheamus in the cage against Matt Hardy by himself, Cesaro and Sheamus both had opportunities to walk out the cage. And I asked Renegade, I said, well, wouldn't it make sense? Wouldn't it make sense to have just beat the shit out of him and just walk out the cage? It's just that simple. You see what I'm saying? Like, it didn't make sense. Like, I wouldn't, and I don't know. I just didn't understand the concept. I was so lost. I'm like, Sheamus and Cesaro had ample opportunities to leave Matt Hardy out there. Once they double teamed him, they could have easily walked out the cage. So it was a weird match. I enjoyed it, but it was a lot of stuff that didn't make sense with that match. And it came down to the final finish, and Sheamus and Cesaro both got their feet on the ramp on the floor when they climbed over the cage, and Matt Hardy was out the cage, but he had to drag Jeff Hardy out the cage, even though Jeff Hardy had already exited the cage. So it was weird. But the titles changed hands. Sheamus and Cesaro win. It was a good match. I actually cheered Sheamus and Cesaro. I'm actually a big fan of both teams. I love the fact that Sheamus and Cesaro are heels, especially Cesaro. Sheamus already plays a good heel. I love the team. Now we'll see if they get a rematch, which they probably will, and if this feud continues, and if the Hardys are actually going to be broken. Next match, the Cruiserweights. I'm not gonna lie to you. This match wasn't really all that as I thought it would be, mainly for the fact that, and I brought this to Renegade's attention. So when I think of Cruiserweights, I'm thinking of high-flying action, fast-paced action, and that may be just a stereotype from my perspective. But when I heard the stipulation of a submission match, I really didn't think this was going to be a overwhelming match, because a submission match deals with more of a slower paced style of play, and the fans weren't behind this match. I mean, it was a time the beach ball was getting thrown around, although the staff took it, but the beach ball was being thrown around. People were just like, okay, this match is boring, and it was. I'm not gonna lie, I expected more out of this match, but then again, once I realized it was a submission match, I'm like, okay, this is probably the best you're going to see from a submission match. Anyway, if I can get this camera adjusted here. Hold up one second. What was I saying? Neville won on the Rings of Saturn, and he retains the title. I don't want to go too deep into it because it wasn't really an overwhelming match. Next match, the main event. One thing, I'm surprised I didn't get to see Goldust and R-Truth in their feud. I was actually expecting to see them. Or Enzo and Cass. Big Cass somebody. I didn't see any of them. So, whatever. But I was expecting to see R-Truth and Goldust. And I'm mad about that, because actually their little mini feud, that heel turn, was actually better than some of the things that were built up for the card. But the Fatal 5-Way, Bray Wyatt, Seth Rollins, Roman Reigns, Samoa Joe, Finn Balor. Obviously, clearly the best match of the night. I enjoyed it. The Bray Wyatt entrance was amazing when you're that close and you see him come out. I can't wait till Renegade gives me the video of that. The Finn Balor entrance was amazing. And I was thinking to myself, I had already picked Finn Balor to win, but I said, honestly, the most legit person in that ring is Samoa Joe. If you want to make this realistic, Samoa Joe should lose this match. And Samoa Joe won the match. And I was shocked that WWE went that route, but it made sense. So the match itself, was fucking amazing. We got a little bit of everything. We got a little bit of chair shots. We got put through tables. We got Samoa Joe and Finn Balor getting speared through the fucking ringside. It was fucking amazing. And then Seth Rollins with that frog splash through on Bray Wyatt to the table. It was fucking everywhere. Roman Reigns got booed, but he had his moments where he looked dominant. Superman punch. He speared Bray Wyatt. Samoa Joe was fucking legit. Everybody got their moments in. Bray Wyatt got the Sister Abigail on Rollins, which looked fucking nasty. How he landed on his head was ridiculously crazy. Finn Balor with the coup de grace, Roman Reigns with the spear. Seth Rollins had the frog splash, like I said, on Roman Reigns and Bray Wyatt. And then Samoa Joe finished it all off with the coquina clutch on Finn Balor, and Balor passed the fuck out, and Balor wins. So overall, the card didn't have that many matches on it, and then the matches that they had on it didn't make sense for the Extreme Rules setting. We didn't really get a lot of Extreme Rules. If you think about it, besides the last match with the chair and putting them to the announce table and all that, there wasn't much. And the Candlestick match was 5 minutes. That I don't really count that. The Cruiserweight match didn't have any. I don't know what was extreme about the pay-per-view. I will say that. So if I had to think about this show and rate this show, if it was any other pay-per-view except Extreme Rules, this pay-per-view would have been a little bit better than what it was. But there was nothing extreme. If you compare this Extreme Rules to last year, there was nothing. This wasn't even close. This was the steel cage, whatever. The steel cage speaks for itself. There wasn't nothing really extreme done in the cage. The mixed tag match, nothing. Dean Ambrose, you couldn't even use the fucking weapons and shit because it was a disqualification match. So it didn't live up to the extreme theme, and that's what pissed me off about the show. The main event, if it wasn't for the main event and how awesome that was, the show will overall be a complete fuck. It really would be. But the main event made up for it. It went from a 4 out of 10 show to a 5, 6 out of 10 show just because of the main event. And the Miz match was good. The steel cage could have been better. I liked it, but the concept didn't make sense. But everything else, the cruiserweights, the mixed match, and the Candlestick match was fucking garbage. So it is what it is. Like I said, I enjoyed the experience, and this is just real talk. I enjoyed the experience because the show wasn't as overwhelming, but I enjoyed myself. I always enjoy myself when I go to these events. But anyway, that's my thoughts in the review. After this, I'm going to show you some pictures of me and Renegade and some pictures that I took and videos I took. So I hope you guys enjoy. It's your boy Retro. I'm out.
Sheamus. There you go. Oh boy. Let's go, Sheamus. Let's go, Sheamus. Let's go, Sheamus. Let's go, Sheamus. Let's go, Sheamus! Let's go, Cesaro! He's going to Skyhawk! Hey! Cesaro! Let's go!